that was just like, swallowed up the whole dance floor.
It was just absolutely mad. There's this fucking laser going mental on people's heads.
Just walking in, the energy and the vibe and everything, it was crazy.
Fucking everyone's got the shirts off going absolutely fucking mental, you know what I mean? On these podiums going crazy, and I thought, fucking hell, this is intense.
You know, you had from models to hippies to students to stockbrokers. We're just all in there, just, you know, loving the music.
Because it was like, you saw black people, white people, and it was just like, there was people just raving, whistling, shouting, there was horns going off, and it was like a football match, you know what I mean?
Hardcore. It wasn't just a sound, but a whole attitude.
Because I was like there, always trying to think, I'm gonna design a fucking tune. I've got to do the tune that's just gonna fuck people up. You know, I'll be fucking dropping E's in like fucking 5 a night, I'll be fucking off my tits. So, right guys, I'm buzzing, let's make music. So, I heard this tune last night, I heard this. And you start fucking around and things start coming out. The thing you can't forget, the instinctive thing, all I wanted the people to do was dance. I EQ Terminator on about 5 E's and I was standing on the fucking desk on the roof. I remember the first time I played the tune, I was like, fucking hell. My fucking hair went like that, whap, straight up. And I remember, I just closed my eyes and I was fucking buzzing off my nut. I just came up with about 2 eddies. I just felt this whole I felt like I am the fucking king of this club, right? And I just felt this warm beam across me.
You're talking about things I haven't done yet.
People didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was just like bending people's fucking prisms open. You know? I was like, what the fuck is that? I didn't know what I'd done. I didn't realise what I'd done.
Goldie took hardcore's breakbeat and hammered it into a whole new sound. Drum and bass.
I didn't want it to be about my mother or about Timeless or about, you know what I mean, a select piece of music. It was just about making people fucking dance. That's it.
The sound was getting like really dark and like heavy. Tempos started to speed up a little, and it just got like a lot more sophisticated than it was. It wasn't just like really simple kind of dub B lines anymore. We started like to get more into like the synthesis of like the bass lines, and like it wasn't just like sampling a hip hop break and speeding it up anymore. It was actually using like samples like chopped up and loops, reversing them, and the whole process basically got like a lot more sophisticated.
I remember seeing Derek, man, I met him previously before that, and I was just, that's the guy that did Strings of Life. Oh, fuck. And always in the back of my mind was, I'm gonna fucking freak that guy out. Because I always wanted to freak out the guys that were making the fucking music. And I remember saying, I said to him, look, Derek, I want to play you something in the car, but I don't need to fucking get out of the car. He said, what do you mean? It's like, what do you fucking mean? That's what it's like 22 minutes long, you know what I mean? So he's like, what? And I was 22 minutes long. He's like, right, so, but you can't speak though, I just want to play this again. So I sat him in the car and I just fucking pressed play and I thought, fucking see you later.
Inner city life took drum and bass into realms of sophistication previously unthought of.
He came into my office. He sat down in front of me and said, what do you want? I said, oh yeah, you're good. So, of course I'm fucking good. What do you want? He's really aggressive. And then he sort of threw this cassette at me. And I didn't know what I was going to get. And I had to sit there for 20 minutes, 22 minutes to be precise, and listen to Inner City Life. And I said, right, where do I sign?
Goldie's debut album, Timeless, catapulted drum and bass out of the clubs and into the charts.
when I met Goldie, I was probably as excited about him as a sort of star as I was about his music. I mean, I was knocked out by his music, but I really did think, you know, that my time had come, that, you know, after, say, not signing Soul to Soul or Nana Cherry or whatever, this was the next one to come along that could be a truly international megastar.
No matter what happens, I will never make another piece like Timeless. I will never make, you know, Timeless will always be the best drum and bass album ever. You will never ever beat that album.
The government, meanwhile, had been drafting legislation aimed at controlling rave culture. Amendments to the Criminal Justice Bill in 1994 defined a rave as anything more than 100 people listening to amplified music characterized by the emission of successive, repetitive beats. Not since Oliver Cromwell's Sunday observance laws had Parliament tried to stop people dancing.
For the first time, I think people felt like, yeah, this is our land, this is our country, and we want to party, and why not? And who's to say that we shouldn't do that? And if they are, why are they saying that? And who's this thing called the state saying, you're not allowed to have fun, you can't go into a field and dance all night if you want to? So basically, yeah, prerequisite of human experience and prerequisite of human right, I would have thought.
Ravers and crusties forged an alliance to fight for their right to party.
I've got to stand and fight in this creation. Vanity, I know, get guide I alone. I'm searching to find a love that lasts all time.
Despite protests, the Criminal Justice Bill became law in November 1994. Of course, it did nothing to stop house music's evolution.
Dance music was always viewed as a faceless entity, wasn't it? Left Field didn't really want to be seen. You know, they didn't want the fame, but they knew that they had to bring it to a live stage and a live standard. It was like, you know, we just want to rock you, and that was the difference, and they pulled it off live. And a lot of you know, a lot of bands still don't do that now. You know, they do a lot to playback and play bits live. Left Field played live. They had a drummer, they had, you know, it was brilliant. It's brilliant.
We're searching to find the love that lasts all time.
Left Field drew on house, techno and dub to create a distinctly British sound.
Neil was a massive reggae fan, more than me. That he's had a lot of history with reggae. It wasn't a dance record, it was just more a bit of an experiment really, with a few beats and like, it is an unusual tempo again, it's like 110 BPM, it wasn't really prime time kind of dance music, you know. But we knew it was our own sound, so we just went ahead and we released it on our own label, Hard Hands.
Musically, nothing else was sounding like Left Field. You know, a lot of it was kind of sounding a bit Aboriginal, and there was all mad sounds like Ouija this and wobbly that, and, you know, just so different, so original, so groundbreaking. Got what they deserve, basically. Can't say enough good about them. They are my idols.
And in 1993 they pulled off one of House's most audacious acts of assimilation.
I think it's probably one of the best records we ever made, definitely, you know. It was something, and we knew it was different because it had all these influences of techno, world music, dub, with John Lydon on.
The granddaddy of punk, John Lydon, stamped his unique endorsement on UK house.
You lied, you played,
we wanted to do something different, and we'd always talked about doing a track with John, and we had a kind of a demo of a track which we sent over to John, and he just sort of rang us back and said, "Where's the fucking chorus?" sort of thing. And I remember saying to people, I've just done a track with John Lydon. People going, "Really?" Like that sort of thing, you know. Sort of, I suppose people couldn't imagine what it'd be like. And then a few people came down the studio, I played it to them, and they were just blown away, you know. And I knew then that we had something good, and we got a great performance out of John. It was the record that crossed us over into mainstream pop music, I suppose, for want of better words. You know, it was a record suddenly that if you weren't into dance music, but you liked punk or you liked rock music, you could suddenly get into this. But it had a groove.
Left Field proved that by the mid-90s the UK had well and truly made house music its own.
I mean, where Paul Daly gets that bass from, I do not know.
In its spiritual homeland, the music was coming out of the darkness. Producers like Masters at Work had finally put house into the US charts.
We were getting really pop-oriented records. We said, let's take the B-sides and just put our style of music on it. Strictly going for it, you know, going for rock in the clubs. You know, we took a couple of vocal samples from, you know, the song from the artist or whatever, and put it on the B-side and called them Masters at Work dubs. So we just wanted people to feel our vibes, and that's how it started. Next thing you know, like Frankie Knuckles was playing a Debbie Gibson record, and he would never play a Debbie Gibson record, but that B-side was so strong, that dub, and he loved it. He loved the whole vibe.
Masters at Work's remixing of pop stars like Mick Hucknall into club floor fillers sealed the supremacy of the DJ as a studio producer.
They didn't even want the house mix. That's what I'm saying. It was just a remix. And we just ended up doing that dub, and they put it on the B-side, and that's what started the whole thing. But they didn't know what the hell house music was.
For DJs, it had always been a short step from mixing records in a club to remixing them in a studio. Now the major record companies were calling on them to bring a big club feel to pale chart pop.
When I did Tori Amos, it was like a lot. I think it was bugged people out the most because it was not like anything I've done.
Honey, bring it close to my lips, yeah. Honey, bring it close to my honey, bring it close to my lips, yeah. Honey, bring it close to my lips.
I didn't know who she was, never heard of her. And the guy's just like, I'm like, how much is it? Okay, do I have time? Okay. It was just kind of like that regular ordeal. It wasn't like anything special, except for he said one thing to me. He's like, I really want you to do something different.
Armand Van Helden's pumped up remix of Tori Amos was a massive crossover hit. Big in both the clubs and charts in the US and UK, it cemented house music's domination of pop.
It's like, that's a rock guy. It's a guy, rock dude playing the bass. People thought I sampled it from a disco record. That bass is being played for 3.5 minutes. That pluck that I loop for one bar goes by, and it's just like, you just listen to the bass. That's the one. And I'm in. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's like, you know, I mean, if there's any art to it, I guess it's just that art of knowing. I'm just about like, sample a, loop a beat, loop a groove, I'm done. I'm done. It's just like, no rocket science in it at all. It's just all about that groove. What that groove does makes everything else secondary. I don't care. You can label it, title it, call it this, call it that. I start something, I don't start something. People hate me, people love me. I'm just in the studio, I make beats. That's what I do.
The simple art of making beats has elevated the DJ from someone who plays records into someone who makes them. Since back in the day house emerged from the clubs of Chicago, DJ Pierre has been at the cutting edge of its many innovations.
I mean, like people like Daft Punk, Armand Van Helden, these people have taken stuff and they've been real creative. And you can't say that these people haven't been more creative or less creative than we were. Like, you know, if people say, oh, Pierre, you started acid, you know, how do you feel about these people, you know, doing this and that and taking your sound? And I'm like, whose sound? Once it's on a record, it's like it's like shareware. You're sharing it, and you allowing other people to add their own ideas. I mean, whatever I did, I guarantee you, I got it from somebody.
Built on the ability to take ready-made sounds and create something new, house has redefined the very notion of music.
You got to keep learning in this business to stay on top. You can never say, oh, I'm not going to listen to so-and-so, that's some new kid, what does he know? I'm like, these new kids coming with fresh ears. They like, oh, what if we do this? You know, just like when I first started, I'm like, oh, you know, turning these knobs, doing stuff. So, I mean, you got to keep learning.
2001, and this restless quest for the perfect beat goes on in UK Garage.
When UK Garage came out, it wasn't hip-hop because we don't live that life. It wasn't, you know, R&B because, I don't know, we don't live that life either, you know? It wasn't that. It was inner city music. It was the music that kids were making in their bedrooms, listening to radio and sampling tunes and just sticking their own thing on it. You know, you can tell it's England, it's UK, it's like, it's got that energy.
Originally used to take tracks by producers like Todd Edwards and Masters at Work, and they were just really sped up. So you'd think, I like the track. When I get to the club, you see everyone hyped and you think, oh, just touch it up on the deck a little bit, and it worked. A Todd Edwards track, when it's sped up by that much, all of a sudden it has a whole different groove and a different feel.
It appeared that we just wanted it a little bit more raw, a little bit more of a bass line, more for dancing than to, you know, easy listening kind of thing. So then there's this little, I don't know, little transition where it was a grey area between being, you know, the bump of the UK and the smooth of the US, and that's where it was born.
While its roots may lie in America, the heart of UK Garage is the British underground club scene.
You'll get the raw material being the basic 4/4 or the basic tempo of 128 to 130, which it would have got from house.
A lot of it kind of stems from the old sort of ragga scene and the sound system. You know, a lot of the chats picked up from there and a lot of the bass lines.
It probably all stems right back from drum and bass. You know, there's always been that kind of nasty, twisted, bass sounding, you know, rough drums type thing, which people like. And, you know, UK Garage is as drum and bass is just evolved from house music.
When he head I'm coming. Sharply represents the Western London. DT, Piper, Melody and Unknown. We're loving it. We're loving it like this. We're loving it.
This fusion of American house, British breakbeat and reggae style MCs has already leapt out of the underground to dominate the charts.
Till we drop.
UK Garage has been sitting down for quite a while now, and it still has its place in clubland. and there is now a niche for it in the big wide world of pop music.
At the moment, we're taking jungle bass lines, we're taking Miami bass and hip hop beats, and we're putting R&B vocals on it, and we're speeding it up, and we're making it a garage track. And that's always the way it is. And that's, and that's progressive. As long as music progresses, then it's the important thing.
Constantly reinventing itself, House's unique ability to create new genres is matched only by its irresistible power to move dance floors across the world.
I think the house is the feeling, and I think that if you don't feel it, it can't be house.
It's always about bringing emotions out in people, making them feel great.
I mean, that's what house is supposed to be, a good time.
Crossing divisions of nation, race, sexuality and class, house has grown into an international phenomenon which shows no sign of stopping, ever.
This isn't a new thing. People have been dancing to tribal rhythms for 40,000 years, probably more. It's not about to stop.
Let's just let it all out, let it all go, be free. That's what house is.
The book, Pump Up the Volume, price $9.99, and the official double CD, History of House, featuring tracks from the show, are out now. To order your copy, call 0870 1234 344 or click on to channel4.com/shop.
Si tenés historial de viajes a países como China, Corea del Sur, Japón, Irán, Europa o Estados Unidos, tenés que estar en cuarentena en tu domicilio por 14 días. Si además tenés síntomas como fiebre, tos, dolor de garganta y dificultades respiratorias, llama inmediatamente al 0800 888 4767. Todos los ciudadanos deben lavarse frecuentemente las manos, cubrirse la nariz y la boca al estornudar, ventilar los ambientes, limpiar con agua y lavandina las superficies, no automedicarse. Ministerio de Salud, Gobierno de Jujuy, Unión, Paz y Trabajo.
Desde Jujuy, Argentina. Desde Jujuy, Argentina. Panoca.com.ar. La puerta de entrada al futuro. Panoca Rock.
Inicio de espacio publicitario.
Supermercado de mascotas, de todo para mascotas, accesorios y alimentos, marcas exclusivas, Dog Selection, Pachá, Chacal, Gran Campeón, Protemix, Vagoneta, Estampa, Infinity, Keiko, Insignia y Tiernitos. Venta por mayor y menor. Supermercado de mascotas presenta grabado láser en identificación metálica, único en Jujuy. Supermercado de mascotas en Jujuy, Avenida Fuerza Aérea 1142, Alto Comedero, y Lavalle 222, en Palpalá, Hipólito Yrigoyen 163, Barrio Carolina, en Salta Capital, Mendoza 570 y en redes sociales. Supermercado de mascotas único como su amor por vos.
Cumpleaños, casamientos, eventos, fiestas, que la música la ponga el mejor. Harlem DJ, Fabián Flores. Contrataciones 3886-050324 y en redes sociales. Harlem DJ, Fabián Flores, tu conexión con la música.
Mundo Óptico. La primera y única óptica en Gorriti. La más amplia variedad en modelos y diseños. En anteojos recetados y para el sol. Con las últimas tecnologías en cristales. Todas las tarjetas. Hasta 12 cuotas sin interés. Además el mejor precio y excelente atención personalizada. Campero 301 esquina Alem. Barrio Gorriti. Teléfono 424-1505 y WhatsApp 388-474-9322. Busca Mundo Óptico en Facebook e Instagram y entérate de las mejores promos. Mundo Óptico. Ahora, mira la vida.
Ya llegó a tu ciudad. Chango más, chango más, chango más.
Vení a Chango Más y llévate lo que quieras. Cualquier día de la semana tenemos promociones espectaculares. Lo único que te va a costar es empujar el carrito por lo lleno que está. Chango Más, Río Bamba y Ruta 9 Barrio Coronel Arias, San Salvador de Jujuy.
Estamos haciendo frente al narcotráfico como nunca antes y lo hacemos juntos. Por eso, miles de jujeños, a través del programa El Vecino Avisa, colaboraron anónimamente para que el Ministerio de Seguridad de la provincia lleve adelante una tarea jamás realizada en la historia de Jujuy. Solo durante el último año y medio se incautaron 749 kilogramos de cocaína, 285 kilogramos de marihuana y se cerraron 91 bocas de expendio. Somos la provincia que ha puesto en marcha la mayor cantidad de dispositivos integrales de atención de las adicciones y seguimos implementando políticas activas orientadas a prevenir y asistir. Tenemos el Jujuy que queremos. Lo estamos logrando juntos. Gobierno de Jujuy. Unión, paz y trabajo.
Clap your hands now.
Manhattan's Confitería Bar. Entra a otro mundo en tu ciudad. Momentos inolvidables te esperan en Manhattan's Confitería Bar. Tragos, comidas, patio cervecero.
Unreroute the rivers, let the damned water beat.
Manhattan's Confitería Bar. Abierto lunes a jueves de 6:30 a 1 de la mañana. Viernes y sábados de 6:30 a 4 de la mañana. Manhattan's Confitería Bar. Senador Pérez 563.
En nuestra ciudad tenemos un lugar donde podemos hacer todo lo que nos gusta y nos hace bien. Un lugar para reencontrarnos con nosotros mismos y los nuestros. Y hasta despertar el artista que tenemos dentro. Gracias a la creación del Manual de Convivencia del Consejo Deliberante y el apoyo de la Municipalidad de San Salvador de Jujuy, hoy podemos convivir y disfrutar este y otros espacios que son nuestros y de todos. Me gusta Jujuy.